CC, Polycarp, and all of us this evening, hamjambo. Good evening. God is good all the time. We are very, very happy to be in Mombasa, to meet with all of you, to discuss what has already been put up on the video that has come up. We came to speak with you as sons and daughters of Homa-Bay, living in Mombasa, as well as any potential investors who are in the Mombasa area, to alert you that next year, February, from 27th to 29th, we will be having a major international investment conference in Homa-Bay. And the idea is to open up that bay of endless potential to investments that will change the lives of the people. The reason we have come to have a discussion with you as sons and daughters of Homa-Bay and friends of Homa-Bay is because to move Homa-Bay to the next level, we can't do it on our own. I, as governor of Homa-Bay, I can't do it alone. I require your support. I require for you to walk with us this journey of transforming Homa-Bay. And many people, at the end of the day, as I speak to people about coming to Homa-Bay, they ask me, why Homa-Bay? Why should I come to Homa-Bay? Why shouldn't I invest elsewhere? Why shouldn't I invest even here in Mombasa? Or why shouldn't I invest in Nairobi? Or why shouldn't I invest in Naivasha? Or why shouldn't I invest anywhere else? Why Homa-Bay? And we have very, very many answers for the people who ask us, why Homa-Bay? First of all, Homa-Bay is one of the most beautiful counties in the whole country, and maybe south of Sahara and north of River Limpopo. Why do I say that? Many people do not know that 80% of Kenya's Lake Victoria is in Homa-Bay. People think that maybe the lake is divided equally among the counties that have it. No. The county with the largest, longest, most beautiful shores of Lake Victoria is Homa-Bay. You may all know that Kenya has 6% of the lake. Uganda has some of it. Tanzania has most of it. But out of the 6% that we have, we are the lakeside county. Why is this important? It's important because it's important for tourism, because we have shores that can't be rivaled by any other place. It's also strategic for transportation, because as an investor, if you invest in Homa-Bay, you will not just be thinking about the Homa-Bay market or just the Western Kenya market alone. You can be investing, manufacturing, and thinking about the market in Uganda, the market in Tanzania, the market in DRC, in Rwanda, and the rest of the East African region. Why? Because with the availability of water transport, your goods can move by ship across the entire region. So you will not have to worry about transportation of your goods. So Homa-Bay becomes a strategic investment area. Apart from that, we have made deliberate effort as a government to ensure that we have the legal and policy frameworks in place that will protect your investment. How? We have a legal framework for public-private partnerships, but we also have a legal framework that we have put in place called the Homa-Bay County Infrastructure Fund bill. We have an investment board, which is a vehicle that can get into partnerships for investment within Homa-Bay. We have put in place a policy for anti-corruption, corruption-free. So if you're coming to invest in Homa-Bay, we don't want to brag, but if somebody tells you that for you to invest here, we need kitu kidogo, that person does not belong in Homa-Bay. Homa-Bay, we have decided that we are going to hold the hands of our investors and walk with them the entire journey without a stumbling block that is corruption. And we know what corruption has done for our country, but also for our county over the years. And we have decided to say no to corruption. The other thing that you may not know about is that Homa-Bay now will have, and soon we have already been told by the Special Economic Zone Authority that the board of the Special Economic Zone Authority has gazetted, has approved a special economic zone for Riwa, what we are calling the Riwa City. The Riwa City is a special economic zone that will allow for multi-use. We have an industrial area, we have areas for residential, it's a mixed-use special economic zone. Apart from the farthest that there is a special economic zone is probably Naivasha. Before you go to the next special economic zone, the entire region of Western and that entire area, the only special economic zone that is public will be in Homa-Bay. And all that we're waiting for now is gazettement by the Ministry of Trade for our special economic zone to take off. Why is this important? If you invest within a special economic zone, there are special incentives for investors within special economic zones. Some of those incentives, and will be discussed here in details, include the fact that any equipment or building materials that you bring into the special economic zone are taxed as free of tax. When you invest within the special economic zone, there is an investment deduction allowance, which means you do not begin to pay any corporate taxes to the government until you have recovered all the money that you invested in that project within that special economic zone. Any levies and taxes from the county government, you are exempted from. The cost of power within special economic zones are reduced and are subsidized to a level that is affordable for manufacturing. And therefore, it is very, very significant that we have 532 acres of land that are designated for a special economic zone that has been approved and will be gazetted soon. We have a very special agroclimatic condition, and if you want to, all of you, many of you know that in Homa-Bay, we grow highland crops like coffee, but still grow lowland crops like cotton. So we have a diverse agroclimatic condition that allows us to grow many, many, many agricultural crops on a very, very vast land area that we have. We also, as the rest of Kenya, have a very young, educated population. We also now have a university, the Tomboya University, that has nearly 10,000 students, making it very possible for you to set up your business process outsourcing centers and other digital opportunities within Homa-Bay. And if you're looking for labor, there is very, very good labor force within Homa-Bay. Homa-Bay is perhaps the only county that has a national park and also the level of lake that we have. We have the Ruma National Park. And the Ruma National Park, many people do not know, but it has wonderful, wonderful wildlife. I don't know how many people who are from Homa-Bay here who've been to inside the Ruma National Park. Then we have quite a number of us. And you have seen the buffaloes, and you have seen the giraffe, and you have seen the rhinos, and you have seen the only place where you can see the roan, the roan antelope is in the Ruma. And apart from that, we also have the whole lake, the islands, white sandy beaches, Takawiri, Rusinga, Mfangano, Karachuonyo, all the places. And we need investment in hospitality so that we can open up Homa-Bay so that during holidays like now, those of you who are too used to Mombasa, you know everybody usually says at Christmas they are coming for holiday to Mombasa. But for you who are used to Mombasa, during holiday, we should be all saying that we are going for holiday in Homa-Bay, which I think will be very, very beautiful place. In terms of our value chains, Homa-Bay, as I've said, can grow many, many crops. And our people grow maize, they grow sorghum, they grow millet, they grow vegetables, they grow all manner of crops. But we have sat with our people and we have decided that we want to be leaders in certain value chains. Leaders. So that if you mention that value chain, you think about Homa-Bay. And for us to be leaders, it means we have to be leaders in production, leaders in value addition, leaders in processing, so that any of these value chains, if somebody is consuming something of these value chains, it will most likely be made in Homa-Bay. Which are these value chains? Value chain number 1, cotton. We want to be leaders in cotton. And many of you know that before the collapse of factories like Ikomi and others, Homa-Bay was a leader in cotton production. We want to go back to that leadership position in cotton. We have been growing the acreage for cotton over the years. We have been at about 3,000, maybe 5,000. Now, in the farmer registration that was just concluded, farmers in Homa-Bay have registered 42,000 acres to be put under cotton. And if we can give them input and extension services and pesticides to ensure that cotton matures in 42,000 acres, we will definitely, without a doubt, be leaders in the cotton value chain. So we are looking for investment, of course. We don't want our cotton to be carried to be ginned elsewhere, like it is happening at the moment. Our cotton is being taken and is being ginned in distant places, away from Homa-Bay. We would like our cotton to be ginned in Homa-Bay. Therefore, we are looking for investments in ginneries. We are looking for investments in animal feed so that the cotton seed cake can be used for processing animal feed. The cotton seed oil can be harnessed by our cottage industries within Homa-Bay. And spinning and yarning, ultimately, when we are leaders in production of cotton. The other value chain that we want to be leaders in is edible oils. In early this year, we went with a team of ours, together with a team from Bidco, to Kalangala in Uganda. Kalangala is an island in Uganda that was infested fully by tsetse flies. And about 30 years ago, they decided to chase away the tsetse flies and begin cultivation of oil palm. Today, when you go to Kalangala, the lives of the people have changed. The average income of a person in Kalangala is 150,000 shillings a month. Not that they are working every day, no. They grew oil palm, which the oil palm grows in 4 years, and once you start harvesting it, you harvest it for 25 years. Without doing anything. You just go every month and harvest. Every month and harvest. Every month and harvest. For 25 years. Which makes oil palm a very, very potent crop for Homa-Bay. Why do we say for Homa-Bay? Because when we were in Kalangala, we didn't cross by lake and we couldn't see Mfangano. But we could see that if we took a boat from Kalangala, it would not take us more than 4 to 5 hours to reach Mfangano Island. Which means that the climatic conditions of Kalangala and the climatic conditions of Homa-Bay are probably the same. The rainfall patterns are probably the same. We have since done research in Homa-Bay, and we have found that the areas along the lake, Karachuonyo, Kochia, Rangwe here, Homa-Bay, all the way to Suba, as well as Ndiwa, can do very, very well as far as oil palm is concerned. Oil palm requires a lot of rain, many rainy days in a year, and we have calculated and seen that Homa-Bay, many parts of Homa-Bay has the number of days of rain that are required to grow oil palm. It is an area that we would like to enter into and be leaders in. Sunflower, groundnuts. You know that groundnuts is grown everywhere. When you go home, the gift that somebody is most likely to give you is a gift of groundnuts. We want to commercialize our peanut industry by giving our farmers the correct input and processing it. Soya beans, canola, anything that is in the edible oils chain, we want to be leaders in that area. We want to be leaders in fish because we have the largest portion of the lake, which means that apart from just fishing, we can also propagate fish farming. We can turn our fishermen into fish farmers. We can get investments in cage fishing. And when we increase our volumes, we want our fish to be processed in Homa-Bay. And we are working very, very hard to see to it that we find investors who will take the place of people like Capital Fish, who created a lot of jobs in their time when Capital Fish was working. We want our lakefront to be the lakefront like the one you see in Cape Town. If you come to Homa-Bay today, you will see that Homa-Bay is 2 words. Homa-Bay is not 1 word, it's 2 words. Homa-Bay, which means Homa, the hills, and Bay to mean we are on the lake. But if you come to Homa-Bay town for the holidays, you will not have a place to go and sit and enjoy the bay. And without the bay, we are only Homa. And we don't want to be Homa. We want to be a beautiful bay of endless potential. And therefore, we are transforming our lakefront. If you come today, you will find that we have begun that process. The Paya Fish Market, we have moved it out a bit. The Paya is being rehabilitated. We are building a new modern fish market whose construction is beginning this week down at Koginga Beach, where women will be having a beautiful modern fish market where they'll be able to store, fry, sell their fish in a hygienic way. And the lakefront area will be rehabilitated into a beautiful scenic area where people can go and enjoy the lake and water sports with their families. We are starting with a small area, but we have a plan to stretch that whole lakefront so that Homa-Bay becomes the Bay City that it's supposed to be. And we have the plan to transform into a city status in the next decade, which means that we have a lot of work to do within that. So then we have our other value chains, which are unique to us, like the sweet potato value chain. The sweet potato value chain, the sweet potatoes of Kabondo, and many parts of Homa-Bay that can grow sweet potatoes, are the sweetest sweet potatoes across the world. Many of you may know that Queen Elizabeth the Late used to eat sweet potatoes from Kabondo, from Homa-Bay. She would order the sweet potatoes into Buckingham Palace and eat them there. That is how sweet our sweet potatoes are. We want to support our farmers to make sweet potatoes processing, and we have had discussions with people, apart from sweet potatoes, just the chips and the pellets and so on. There is a huge need to also supply sweet potato pellets for purposes of animal feed processing. Apart from sweet potatoes, we have the pineapples. And many of you know that you will come to Kochia or Larenia, my home there, and you will see the women with the pineapples selling them on the sticks. It has been something we have discussed for long. It must be done now. We want to have investment in the area of fruit processing, with our priority fruit being the pineapples, the watermelons that our people do, mangoes, and so on. We also have a lot of opportunities for investment in the area of climate change, and it will be discussed here at length. You might have seen that on Tuesday this week, Homa-Bay's under-19 team became the national champions of the Talanta Hela Games that were done across the country, which means that Homa-Bay is the home of sports and home of football particularly. We are the home of We are the home of Gor Mahia, Kogalo. So there is a lot of opportunity also for investments in development of sports and bringing in the whole issue of women empowerment and youth empowerment as we bring these investments on board. I'd like to conclude by calling upon you to join us in believing in a transformed Homa-Bay that is industrialized out of investment. As government, many people ask me sometimes, Wanga, bring us a factory for this, bring us a factory for that, set up a factory for this, set up a factory for the other. As government, it's not our job to be in the business of setting up factories or running them. Our job is to provide an environment for private investors and people to come and set up these industries and run it the best way they know how, when we give them support and a good environment to do it. If you are a government and you enter into business, you will fail flat because it is not the business of government to do business. So join us on 27th to 29th in bringing the world to Homa-Bay so that we can show them the bay of endless potential. Asanteni sana, and with those many opening remarks, Polycarp, please come back. We have an array of presentations that you will see these opportunities in detail. Asante.